This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Next on the 5 o'clock report.
There are things they never thought they'd be doing that they're going to have to do.
We don't have regime change. The new crowd is worse than the prior supreme leader.
The cat knew it because he kind of shook a little bit. I said, yeah, we just had an earthquake.
Now, let's go to the newsroom.
Back on simmer, but threatening to boil over. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Webster. Israel and Iran no longer firing at each other after President Trump intervened to keep the U.S.-Iran ceasefire in place, at least on paper. NBC's Richard Engel recaps what was a violent weekend.
An Israeli military official told NBC News that Iran launched approximately 30 ballistic missiles at Israel, nearly all of them shot down. Israel responding within hours, attacking at least 7 locations in Iran, describing them as military sites and a petrochemical plant.
Iran says it will stop attacks against Israel so long as the IDF doesn't resume attacks against Hezbollah in Lebanon. This weekend, President Trump told NBC this about Iran.
They're proud. There are things they never thought they'd be doing that they're going to have to do. They've got no choice. And it takes a little while, you know.
Here's Senate Intelligence Committee Democrat Mark Warner.
We don't have regime change. I think the new crowd is worse than the prior supreme leader. We know we don't have the enriched uranium, and I think it's going to be extraordinarily difficult to get it out.
Retired Marine Colonel Mike Jernigan tells Fox News the clock may soon strike zero for President Trump.
I think that he's running out of patience, and he's probably going to say, great, let's go back to kinetic operations, and we'll make another deal a little bit later.
Talks between Iran and the U.S. have remained at a standstill for weeks now. Well, to the Pentagon, which has modified a recent directive that revised Christian religious categories. The DoD made changes after a list was released with many religious groups tagged Christian, but not the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints or Mormons. Well, today they edited that new list of religious codes for service members so that no group is labeled Christian. Our other top story today, earthquakes.
Bantay mo, anak. Bantay mo diate.
Those are school children who were thankfully spared injury after being evacuated when a corrugated metal roof shelter collapsed near them. This was in the southern Philippines, struck by a powerful quake early this morning. At last report, over 30 fatalities and at least 100 injured. Janice Mackey-Freyer reports a state of emergency is in place now.
Fears of devastation from a disaster after a powerful earthquake shook the Philippines, measuring magnitude 7.8 and centered offshore, some 20 miles deep.
And this afternoon, another strong earthquake happened just west of Cuba. That was felt by people in central Florida. The USGS says it was a magnitude 6.1 quake that was felt in Orlando. This Winter Garden, Florida resident near there tells WFTV in Orlando what he experienced.
I felt a small tremor. I thought it might have been something on the highway, a big truck. And a few minutes later, a larger tremor hit. So I hollered, and my wife was already on her way in there. Hey, did you feel that? And the cat knew it because he kind of shook a little bit. I said, yeah, we just had an earthquake.
No reports of damage or tsunamis in that Florida quake. Police have a man in custody now in connection to a stabbing spree at New York City's Penn Station. Witnesses say the suspect taken into custody appeared to be a homeless man and emotionally disturbed.
I've seen him once, but I didn't think he was capable of doing anything. I just saw the cops. They were just running into that area. They pinned him down.
This man was a victim, but didn't even realize it at first.
I didn't realize that he hit me with a knife until someone told me I had a slash in my face.
Police say 6 people were stabbed Sunday night, all of them expected to survive. Congo continues to see its number of Ebola cases rise. The latest info from the country's National Health Ministry shows more than 450 confirmed cases in Congo alone, another 19 in nearby Uganda. The U.S. State Department is strongly urging Americans to avoid the area. And concerns of disease in Texas.
It's important we keep working with Mexico. We obviously have to.
Secretary for the Department of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins, who says there's no concern for the U.S. food supply, despite officials confirming additional cases of the New World screwworm in Texas. Rollins says the parasite has been spreading north through Mexico and that we need their help to stop it.
So we can protect our own livestock producers in our own country because it keeps getting worse and worse in Mexico.
The New World screwworm poses a risk to livestock, wildlife, pets, and in uncommon cases, people. It's a parasitic fly whose larvae burrow into the flesh of living, warm-blooded animals. All right, still to come here on the 5 o'clock report, a recap of our top regional stories and highlights from today's issues in education. All coming up after Weather with Kevin.
I'm Kevin Williams, and here is your Family Life regional weather forecast. Beautiful day today, but the heat's on the next couple days, and when you add the humidity, that'll be a recipe for producing some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Well, the expectation is the activity will be sufficiently scattered to allow lots of dry time, but having an umbrella handy over the next couple days, probably not a bad idea either. The call for tonight, though, a beautiful evening. Beautiful. And then overnight tonight, we're clear to partly cloudy, low temperatures 50s and low 60s. But tomorrow, warmer and more humid than it's been. We'll have partial sunshine, watching for an afternoon thunderstorm. A high temperature in the 80s to around 90. Very muggy on Wednesday, variable cloudiness with a couple of showers and thunderstorms in the area. High temperatures upper 70s to the middle 80s.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Now checking the stories making news where you live across New York and Pennsylvania. Data centers, they continue to generate a lot of strong opinions in New York and Pennsylvania. PA Treasurer Stacey Garrity hosting a listening session this afternoon on AI data centers. Business owners and town supervisors gathering in New Cumberland, PA to voice concerns.
I appreciate the consideration that you're bringing, and more importantly, I just thank you for listening to Pennsylvania.
Garrity has called for a pause on all data center development in the Keystone State, likening it to the growth that happened with high-volume hydrofracking.
I live, of course, in the middle of the Marcellus Shale area. And so all these new hotels were built when there was the influx and everybody, building pipeline and drilling. And now a lot of those are empty. Yeah, they sit empty.
There are currently 77 proposals for data centers in the state of Pennsylvania, 13 alone in Lackawanna County. And a rally over the weekend in Buffalo, New York, against the proposed $2 billion, 500,000 square foot AI data center at the old Tonawanda Coke site.
My career, I have never seen an issue where this many people agree on one thing that in opposition to something.
We're not accepting crumbs anymore from development. We're not accepting crumbs from people with big ideas that just want to come here and throw some money at something just to make more money off of our backs.
The site is on hold after the New York legislature voted in favor of a one-year moratorium on all data center sites statewide. Chris Morawski is executive director of the Clean Air Coalition of Western New York, telling WGRZ the moratorium would give towns and state agencies more time to develop regulations.
We need protections in place for communities like Tonawanda. We need that bill signed right away so that projects can't get started, without those protections.
Governor Kathy Hochul has until the end of the year to sign the bill. If she does, New York would become the first state in the nation to enact a temporary statewide ban on large-scale data centers. A fire at a Western New York pallet company kept firefighters plenty busy overnight and into this morning. That 5-alarm blaze at Pallet Express in Rochester, New York, destroyed much of the business. Rochester Fire Lieutenant Howard Villegas telling WROC that massive blaze presented some big challenges to them.
There's a lot of early work up front, getting the hydrants, getting all the rigs around positioned for the master streams. We stay out of the collapse zone in case any walls start coming down, which has happened in the back there.
Thankfully, no injuries reported in that fire. 2 weeks now since Erie County's first in-the-state Biometric Transparency and Privacy Act was signed into law. That act bans private businesses from collecting, storing, and selling biometrics for your own privacy. Anna Mercado Clark, a partner at Phillips Lytle and Chief Information Security Officer, tells WIVB other states have laws like that one, but there's some confusion on which businesses need to comply.
Fingerprints would qualify as biometric identifier information or biometric information under the law. So it's entirely possible that funeral homes would be subject to the law.
Under that Erie County, New York law, businesses that violate it could face fines of $5,000. Erie County is expected to release more guidance soon. And when this Pennsylvania man says he's going to drop in, well, look up, because he's skydiving across all 50 states. Here's Family Life's Sarah Harnish.
65-year-old Benjamin Kellogg is from Beaver County, Pennsylvania. He's one of just 30 people in America to skydive in all 50 states.
I was 5 years old the first time I saw parachutes in the air.
But it took him till 2004 to try it for the first time.
I let go of the airplane, and I knew right then and there I was hooked on skydiving.
A couple years ago, he looked over his records and realized he jumped in 35 states. So he dedicated the last year to finishing what he started. He took part in record-breaking jumps all over the U.S., with a final jump in Rhode Island last September.
People say, does it ever get boring? You're jumping out of an airplane 2-3 miles above the earth. How could that possibly be boring?
65 and alive in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. Sarah Harnish, Family Life News.
Thanks, Sarah. Got to try that sometime. Up next, highlights from the Noon Report as our Bob Price and Dr. Ralph Kerr from the Teaching and Learning Institute in Houghton, New York, dissect the top issues in education.
We'll begin with NYSUT, New York's largest teachers union. Apparently thinks this bell-to-bell cell phone ban is not enough, Dr. Kerr. It wants stricter limits on screen time, especially for those students in pre-K through the second grade. A lot of their concerns have to do with exposure to AI. Does the New York State United Teachers Union have a point here?
Bob, why do you start me off first topic of the day talking about the teachers union? Come on.
Because I know how much you love to talk about the teachers unions, Ralph.
Well, let me tell you, in one of my books called The Sin of Apathy, I quoted from the president of the teachers union in Chicago, and she said at the time, teachers unions are in the business of protecting teachers and their jobs. We're not having anything to do with students. And I'm afraid this whole issue with NYSUT is the same old thing. It goes back to over 20 years ago when we first brought distance learning. They didn't want any part of it because they saw it as it was going to reduce the number of teachers that were needed, because under distance learning, you could have one teacher teach 5 or 6 districts all at once. Of course, they were against that. And I think this is the same topic here with AI. The unions are really afraid that teachers are going to be replaced by AI, and also that they're going to have to learn how to manipulate AI in a positive way. And so they're against it. I want local districts to be able to make those decisions and keep the unions out of it.
I saw another interesting story last week. Women are outpacing men in high school and college when it comes to the graduation rates. 89% of girls, according to this study, have a high school diploma. 82% of boys do. And the college graduation rate for girls, Ralph, is about 10 points higher than it is for boys. So it begs the question, does our modern education system lend itself more for girls than boys, and if so, how come?
Well, you have to look at the numbers here in terms of in high schools across the country, 87% of the enrollment are girls and 84% of the enrollment are boys. Mm-hmm. And the other factor that's really playing into it now at the high school level is that the BOCES career tech enrollment, where they're teaching electronics and plumbing and machinist things, boys are getting the message that they can make a lot of money by going into those fields when they graduate, and so they're just turning away from college, saying, you know, there's a better option here for me. There are employers that are just waiting for those people to graduate from high school so they can pick them up. On the other side, and this is not meant to be chauvinistic in any way, but girls tend to go to college very often to become teachers, nurses, social workers, or therapists, all of which are very honorable professions, but that also contributes to the fact of the graduation rates, I think, both high school and college.
Thank you, gentlemen. You can hear the entire feature and all of our Family Life original news features at Apple Podcast, YouTube, Spotify, and FamilyLife.org. This is the 5 o'clock report on Family Life.
Grace can even show up in the small moments, like how you tip. Hi, I'm Rob West with a Faith and Finance Minute. Galatians 6:9-10 says, "Let us not grow weary of doing good. As we have opportunity, let us do good to everyone." That includes moments when generosity doesn't feel easy. It's simple to tip well when service is excellent. But when it's not, we still have a choice. The person serving you is made in God's image, with a story you may never fully understand. And in that moment, your response can reflect something deeper. We've all received grace we didn't deserve through Christ. So sometimes the most powerful witness isn't withholding, but giving generously anyway. After all, when grace shapes your giving, even a generous tip can point someone to the goodness of God. We can help you learn to manage your money according to biblical principles when you download the free FaithFi app. You'll find it on our website at faithfi.com.
Thank you, Rob. Finally at 5, 15-year-old Jamie Austin's life began in typical fashion, but then shortly thereafter came a diagnosis of Rett syndrome. It's a rare genetic neurological disorder that robs motor skills and speech. Her dad tells WGHP the years since have made that family keenly aware of life's taken for granted moments.
We have learned how to celebrate the small things. Most people move through these things quickly in life, these small things. It's a smile, it's a kiss, a reaction of some type. It's just those little things, and we've just learned to appreciate those.
So he and his wife were thrilled when Lily's lifelong neighbor and friend Oliver asked her to a special prom at Life Community Church in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Lily Austin.
Ready? Here's Lily's mom.
As a mom, I learned to grieve things that I thought would never happen for her. She's never going to get married or have a family, and you slowly start to grieve those things and try to let go of them one by one. And it was just so special and so healing for my mama heart to be able to see her experience something so normal.
And her mom says that therein lies a lesson for all of us.
We forget that just because they can't speak or express things the way that we can, she's in there.
Celebrating love for Lily in the Carolinas. And that's the world we live in for Monday, June 8th, 2026. Thank you again for joining us. I'm Mark Webster, Family Life News.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.